All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to another episode of the Heat Check Live Beat Review Show right here on YouTube. Man, these Fridays they just come right up. They just pop right up on me, man. Guys, we're coming up in a couple months on the 1-year anniversary of this live stream show, and I just want to say thank you to everyone, and thank you, of course, to the 1,000 subscribers that I now have right here on the YouTube channel. This is just the beginning. So, if this is your first time here on the Heat Check, you might be wondering, who am I? Who is this guy? What is he all about? And why should I be listening to him? Well, my name is Desmond A. I've been producing music for over 12 years now. Have music with different networks, Bravo, E-Television, Sci-Fi, different documentaries, plenty of independent recording artists. I've produced for Soul Beats Online, content creator now, done just about everything in a couple different spaces, worked at a recording studio. So I got just a little bit of insight on a lot of different areas when it comes to music over my course of over a decade here now. So that's why I'm here, giving the value back, giving the game back to you guys in the community. So I want to go ahead and give a shout out to the chat. We got officials in the chat. Shout out to you. We got Doreen Answer in the chat. Shout out to you, Doreen, as well. You know, I know who that is. So shout out to everybody in the chat. If you guys don't know, once again, and here on the Heat Check, what happens is you go ahead and submit your beats. As soon as the show is closed, as soon as the stream ends, I go ahead and open up the form for next Friday's show. So the show, free submissions close at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fridays. As soon as that closes, you of course can get the VIP Skip the Line Pass. You see that pinned in the chat. You also see in the description. And you also see that up top of the ticker. So just go to DesmondASounds.com/VIP to get your VIP Skip the Line Pass. And then you can go ahead and get your beat for this week's show. But if you want to do the free submissions, just wait for the show to end. I'll go ahead and make a YouTube community post that you could submit for next Friday's show. Check. We all good? Everything clear? So that's how we go ahead and do it. Also, some of the ground rules here at the Heat Check. No snapping, no roasting. We're just here to sharpen swords. You know, this is more so like a dojo as opposed to a place where we can just snap on each other and roast on each other. So if you hear like a kick is bad, you know, fix that kick, fix that melody. We're here to give constructive criticism. You don't go to a boxing gym or a taekwondo dojo and then people say, you know, that was a terrible knee strike. That was a terrible punch. No, they say, put some more force behind there. Focus more. Twist your hips when you throw that jab. So that's how we go ahead and give constructive feedback here at the Heat Check. So if you rock with that, make sure you continue to watch this show. Let's see here. Can we send songs that we produce? Now, this is a producer-focused show. However, this is a beats-only show. Love has limits. But I will say I did attempt to create a song-based show. Didn't have enough momentum. So what I'm doing here now is if you want to submit songs, you can do the VIP Skip the Line Pass. So I will allow songs with the VIP $10 Skip the Line Pass. If you want to do that, then yes, you can go ahead and submit a song with the VIP Skip the Line Pass and just submit it there for the $10. The Lakers should have took my advice yesterday. Oh man, here y'all go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, that's everything. And also guys, make sure you subscribe here to my YouTube channel. I got a lot of great content coming. Also make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com to get free FL Studio Patcher plugins, free loops, free guides on mixing, sampling, using Pro Tools. I got all kinds of free game on my website. So just go to DesmondASounds.com as well to help you level up your music game. And guys, I got some stuff coming for you that I'm super excited for. I almost can't. I'm excited, and it's for y'all. So that goes to show how valuable the things I got is coming, man. So stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned. Building this thing from the ground up. So a lot of great things coming. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into the music. We got a full house tonight, so I don't want to hold you guys too long. Let's go ahead and get straight into the music, straight into the producers here. All right. So starting from the top, ladies and gentlemen, our first submission of the night is coming from a producer named Repent. This beat is called Closer Step. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Gentlemen, that was Repent with Closer. Closer. All right. Looks like Closer Step. I believe that's the title of that beat. So shout out to you, Repent. Thank you so much for your submission. It is greatly appreciated. Now, another point I forgot to clarify at the beginning of the show is our free submissions. I play about a minute and a half of your beat. And for the VIP Skip the Line, I go ahead and play the entire beat. So just so you guys know, when I fade out your music, it's not anything personal. It's not like that. So just clarifying. So, Repent. Repent, that was a good sample flip. I really like that. You know, I remember that album when it came out. I believe I was in college when that came out. You know, great album by Neo. So great sample flip. Definitely gave me those nostalgic vibes from back in the day. So shout out to you on that. So we had a good sample flip, good drum selection, but I was struggling to really find a bounce. I felt like the beat, we had a whole bunch of feels, so I couldn't quite lock in at a point that a recording artist could really get their flow off. They could really find a lane to create a song to this. You know, those feels are cool, but we need to find a point of structure where the recording artist can just go ahead and get their verse off, go ahead and get their rhymes off. Or a singer, maybe they do like a sing rap type of thing, like maybe Ty Dolla $ign or something like that. But they still need a point where they could just, there's a solid groove, there's a solid bounce. It's not like so many feels and then we have like a kick hitting and then so many feels and then another kick hitting. There's a place for something like that, but if I can get for you to go back into your DAW, you know, just mute the drums, let the sample play, keep your bass, and then just listen and then just start freestyling. Just mumble to yourself, you know, try to find a groove, try to find a space, and then build the drums around that. You know, I just want to lock in on a nice bounce. My body was literally anticipating the feels to stop and to just like I was waiting for that to hit. So, you know, lots of potential, but let's go ahead and find a nice solid groove, nice solid drum bounce for that particular beat. And you're going to be able to sell that beat. Also, another thing I was hearing in that beat, Repent, is I heard some harshness. Sounds like you might be letting your beat distort. So we might be getting a lot of red here in your mixer whenever you're doing your beat or putting your beat together to export. So let's watch that digital distortion as well. I was hearing some harshness. If you want to tame digital distortion, just make sure that you don't make sure you can either use a limiter or you could just find a better way to balance your sound, and then you can use something like a soft clipper to just kind of glue things together. But let's watch that digital distortion. It's harsh and it's taking away some of the integrity of the quality of the sounds that you have going on. I like to use the analogy, it's like cooking. And you have really good food, but then it starts to get crispy and it starts to burn. And it's like you can still tell the food is good, but the crispiness is getting in the way of how the food is actually tasting. So let's watch that, Repent. But shout out to you, Repent. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, and it looks like we got another submission right here by Repent. This one is called Alter Wa Slayer. Okay, I'll just call this one Alter. All right. Second submission of the night by Repent. This one is called Alter. I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, play this beat, then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the second submission of the night by by Repent with a beat called Alter. Shout out to you, Repent. And thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Repent, that beat, man, that beat has some major potential. So, I don't know what your situation is, but man, please make sure you're out there DMing artists, posting your type beats on YouTube, because that one is gonna, that one gets in the right hands, that could become something. What I was hearing Playboi Carti. That's the first artist that came to mind when I heard that beat was Playboi Carti. I feel like Carti could really rip that beat down, create something, or maybe even another artist on the come up. Maybe they'll take some of the Playboi Carti aesthetic musically and create their own thing, flip it in their own way. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't have to be a Playboi Carti clone, but yeah, that has potential, man. Make sure you're hitting your DMs, you're DMing people who make that style of music so you can get that somewhere. One of the main things, though, that was poking out to me that could possibly hurt you, especially in the recording studio, whenever we have the big giant speakers out there, is I'm hearing that once again, that digital distortion, that harshness, and it's gonna make it difficult it could make it difficult for recording artists to really feel the music. Now, based on the production, they might be able to look past it or listen past it and be able to still write a song to it. Maybe the engineer in Pro Tools would use something like Soothe to kind of get rid of some of that top-end harshness to make it, listenable and recordable. But if we can just watch that top-end harshness, watch the blaring of things into the digital red, things going into red in your mixer. Once again, try to find a quality limiter, learn how to work the limiter, and then you should be good to go. Or just give yourself some headroom. Things don't have to blast so hard, because once again, the integrity of your sounds, of your ingredients, are starting to get burnt up a little bit. So, shout out to you, Repent. Shout out to you. Please continue to cook up music. Please continue to submit right here on the Heat Check. All right, moving forward, next producer of the night, we have Low 9 with Snow in Miami. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Low 9 with Snow in Miami. Shout out to you, Low 9, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Low 9. Man, that beat was good, man. That beat was fire. It was, I know you know how to pick sounds. You knew how to keep that same dark, kind of eerie mood. that's something that's going to instantly speak to a recording artist. If they're feeling a certain kind of way, they're in the studio, they're in the car, they're at the gym, they listen and they flip through beats, they come across that beat, they're just in that mood, they're just in that mode, they're instantly going to be like, man, I got to write something to this. So you did a very good job of capturing that energy. Also, good sound selection. Man, I really don't have too much to say about that being particular. The only thing I could say, and this could be nitpicky, is try to watch your separation between sounds. And what do I mean by that is I really felt like kind of like the high end kind of blurred together, like the hi-hats didn't really feel too separate from other things. Once again, that's not something that's going to stop an artist from recording to your music or writing a song to it. But that's just this is the Heat Check live beat review show, so I have to give you some type of feedback. But yeah, just try to watch your separation. Understand that certain things have to be slightly dark in order for other things to be slightly brighter. One thing I like to tell a lot of producers is to actually try to use things like shelving EQ. So like maybe on that loop or that instrument sound that you had going on, try shelving a little bit in the real high top end. And what I mean by shelf is I'm going to just show you guys here. So you could just open up your parametric EQ, create a shelf, like literally a shelf like you have in your house, a shelf. And then what I like to do is I like to make things sound worse, like too bright. Let's just say that string, that sample sound you had going on, I would make it sound worse, and then I would like pull it down, make it sound better. Okay, now the hi-hats are cutting just a little bit more, and I don't feel like I'm losing anything in that sample sound, so it's creating this nice little contrast. The hi-hats are just cutting a little bit more, and we're just sacrificing a little bit at the top end of that little sample going on. Don't do too much. Always make sure you use the A and B feature to make sure you didn't lose anything, you're not tricking yourself or tripping at all, and then from there, you're good to go. So just a little shelving here and there can go a long way. But yeah, that's really it. That's kind of a nitpicky thing, but once again, I got to give you something. So shout out to you, Low 9. That was Snow in Miami. All right, moving forward, we have Low 9 with Thermal. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Low 9 with Thermal. Shout out to you, Low 9. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Low 9, another good beat, good sound selection. You really were able to capture a nice coherent mood and aesthetic with your production. That being said, one thing is that snare break that you have in there, that's going to be really hit or miss. Some artists are going to really like it, and some artists are going to really dislike it. And I say that because there was a period in time, especially that Young Money wave, that period of time when Young Money came out with Nicki and Drake, and a lot of the production at that time, in that time frame, did have a lot of those snare breaks, and some people might feel like that could be slightly dated, like that snare break, yeah. So once again, some are gonna love it, some are gonna hate it. I would have you experiment with that beat without the snare break. Try something like doing a drop and then just maybe switching the drum groove a little bit to create more contrast and more tension. So we want to achieve the same thing without using the same method, if that makes sense. The snare break creates this type of relief and then a type of contrast to the rest of the music, and then it goes back into the main music, and we want to do the same thing in a different way. Once again, I think you could just use a kick and a snare and then just change the bounce a little bit, keep that high lead in there, and then see if you could do the same thing, create a type of relief, and then it goes back into the main style of production. But other than that, other than that structural piece of the beat, I think it's a good beat. I think once you experiment with that, it can make it much more palatable and acceptable for a recording artist to more easily desire to record to it. So just give that a try, see how you feel about it. Freestyle over your music. I say that every show, guys, freestyle over your music, sing over your music, and make sure things are nice and structured well. So shout out to you, Low9. Thank you so much for your submission, and I hope to hear from you again. Shout out to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, we have P Peace with Ballad. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was P Peace with Ballad. Shout out to you, P Peace, and thank you so much for your submission. All right, Love Has Limits. I went ahead and I got you locked in. Love Has Limits, so thank you so much for your submission. I'm gonna get to you right after I complete P Peace's review. All right, so P Peace, when I hear this music, first of all, let me start by saying this. Musically, that was good. I can tell that you more than likely play an instrument. You've been playing the keyboard or something like that for a while, and it's something that you do. You like to play the keyboard. Now, when I was listening to the music, it kind of felt like a lot of stock sounds. It felt like a lot of default sounds in your DAW, or maybe even you're even using a piece of hardware and you're just using the songs, the sounds that come stock in there. And I can tell it just has a lack of polish. It has a lack of, depth. It has a lack of, sophistication in the sound selection. So one thing I would suggest to someone like you, PPs, is even possibly try collaborating with a younger, newer R&B producer. Maybe even try somewhere like BeatStars or even Instagram, but BeatStars is more accessible if you have a BeatStars. And just collaborate. And once you guys collaborate on a beat, you'll start to pick up things. You'll start to learn things. You'll start to know how to select a better kick, a better snare. It's going to be uncomfortable at first, but learning something, always is uncomfortable at first. But if you do that, I think that is going to help to upskill you really quickly when it comes to just sound selection and production, because I think that's really your main thing. And once you get that locked down, you're gonna go really far. I also heard like the bass that you had in there, heard like some phase cancellation. So it sounds like your bass kind of ran into each other and it caused this phasey thing where I couldn't hear the bass at moments. So definitely watch that as well. But keep making beats, keep grinding. We definitely need more musical producers as music producers. So keep going, keep working at it. And I think collaborations is really going to be the main thing that's going to get you further quicker. So shout out to you. Shout out to you. All right. Now we have a VIP skip the line here. Let me go ahead and get that pulled up. And as I get that pulled up, ladies and gentlemen, once again, make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com to get your FL Studio Patcher plugins. Go ahead and get your free loops. Go ahead and get your free guides. Everything that you need. What else? Oh, also I have gear, merch. So Desmond A Sounds, you can find some cool merch as well. So I got some FL Studio versus everyone. I got some Pro Tools versus everyone. So got just about everything that you need to get you nice, fresh, and fly. So make sure you guys check that out. All right. So let's get the VIP skip the line here. Go ahead and get this person pulled up here. Put some respect on your name by having everything laid out. Love has limits. Oh, and also, guys, I also have a nice Pro Tools guide. So as AI gets better and better, as producers, you might find yourself in recording studios more so as opposed to working solo at home. So you definitely want to know Pro Tools. All right. So there we go. Bam, bam. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a VIP skip the line with Love Has Limits. What's going on, Neptune Blue? I see you here in the chat. Shout out to you, Neptune Blue. Yes, indeed. So Love Has Limits, VIP skip the line. So we're going to play the whole thing. And I believe Love Has Limits might be playing a song. Once again, guys, if you want to submit a song, you can do the VIP skip the line. So all the artists out there, just letting you know. Love Has Limits with Miss Me instrumental. So it looks like we got an instrumental playing the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, play this beat, and go ahead and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Love Has Limits with Miss Me Instrumental. Shout out to you, Love Has Limits, and thank you so much for the VIP submission here tonight. Now, Love Has Limits. A couple things here. First of all, I could tell that you is either you, if this is you who produced the beat, I could tell that you're a very musical person. Very nice sophistication in the drum selection. I like the bounce of it. Also that bass guitar. I think you might be a bass player. I could tell that's definitely not a VST. VST sound good, but I can tell that's clearly somebody really grooving on a bass guitar. So guys out there, producers out there who feel like you could do everything on a VST, you can't. You can do really good, but I can spot a real musician playing that bass guitar. I have a couple of bass players. I work with bass players. I have a bass player. Haven't worked with them in a little bit, but I could hear that groove. One thing that was happening there is whenever I was listening to it, let's try to keep that bass line simple. You know, keep the groove. You know, whenever you want to groove, there was a certain part that threw me off with the bass groove. Let me see if I can find it here really quickly. That part right there. Yeah, that part right there, that part of the bass groove was a little bit awkward. Let's try to keep it simple. If we could just keep that bass groove nice and simple. I know when I work with bass players, I have to do like a lot of simplification. Yeah, you know, bass players go crazy. But yeah, other than that, another thing was the I felt like there's something on the master that's like a little too much. It felt like it's almost getting like a little bit of a lo-fi feel due to the fact that this it's like you're hitting something kind of hard on the master. I'm not quite sure what that is. Is this some type of hardware limiter or something like that? I could just hear like it's like kind of aggressive, especially for this texture of music. So let's if we can back off on the limiter just a little bit, let the music breathe. You got really good ingredients. You got bass. You got a nice bounce. Everything sounding good. Everything feeling good. But to a degree, I kind of like. Let me clarify. That limiter, whatever you're hitting it on the master, it sounds like it would be good for like more of a boom bap style of beat, boom bap style of production, and this one has more life to it as opposed to like pure grit. So once again, whatever's on that limiter, let's try to get like something just let it breathe a bit more. This is fun. This music is moving, it's grooving, it's coming in and out, back and forth at us. So you know, let's let it breathe a little bit. But yeah, good beat, good production. If you haven't, Love Has Limits. If you haven't worked in sync or anything like that, I would definitely try to reach out to people, get in sync. I believe there's a content creator named Clint Music. Hopefully that's right. He does a lot of things. Has a lot of content on sync. Also, it's the only person I can think of at the top of my head. But yeah, you could definitely get into sync, especially with this style of music. So shout out to you, Love Has Limits. All right, moving forward. Love Has Limits, second VIP submission here tonight. This one is called There She Goes Instrumental. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Love Has Limits with There She Goes instrumental. Shout out to you, Love Has Limits, and thank you so much once again for the VIP submission. Second submission of the night by Love Has Limits. Now, Love Has Limits, man, once again, very musical, great production. That style of music is it's something that can go mainstream. It's something that a lot of people will be able to gravitate to. I could just see myself at the beach or, just somewhere on TV. I could just hear that type of music being played. So once again, my mind is going straight into sync, whether it's the instrumental by itself, or maybe if you work with a vocalist, maybe there's some type of official song with it. I see it says instrumental, so you might even have a song with it as well. I'm hearing like mass appeal. So once again, if you do have official song with this, definitely try to get in contact with music supervisors and things like that. As a matter of fact, in my Made in the Studio podcast, I interviewed a producer, Grammy-nominated producer, multi-instrumentalist, Drew's That Dude, also known as Andrew Lloyd. And we had a section where we talked about sync placements and how to get them. It really spoke about, producers actually showing up to places where people who would want music synced would be. So in other words, if there's a video game conference or convention, you got to show up there. If there's something dealing with marketing and dealing with, let's just say cars and marketing and things of that nature, that's where you go to actually, break in. And that's one of the places that he mentioned in our podcast. And guys, make sure you check out the Made in the Studio podcast. You'll just click on the tab here on my YouTube channel, go to the one that says Drew's That Dude, and then you'll be able to skim through that section that he spoke about sync. So I kind of towards the end of our interview. So make sure you guys check that out. He has a lot of good game on sync. So check that out, guys. Other than that, the other thing that I was hearing on that, once again, on the master, I was hearing like that dirtiness, that darkness. It wasn't as aggressive as the other one. It's just a certain type of dirtiness, a certain type of darkness on there. And once again, this sounds like sheen. This sounds like a silky type of music. As a matter of fact, I think I'm hearing some analog, especially with how loud things were able to get and how pleasing to the ear they were. I didn't hear roughness. I heard like smoothness on the top end. So I'm thinking that you're using some type of analog, especially on the master. But with that analog, just try to get some of that top end back. Let's try to get some of the prettiness back so it's not as gritty. But other than that, man, great music, great beat. If you have any type of website or anything like that, make sure you shout yourself out. Love Has Limits. Shout yourself out in the chat. Some people might want to come back to the stream and see you. And all the producers, make sure you shout yourself out in the stream, in the chat. I don't mind you guys promoting or in the playback. Promote yourself in the comments and network with each other in my Discord. You can find the Discord pinned in the description. I'm here to give value. I'm just a vessel of value. So it's not about me. It's about y'all growing. So I definitely do not gatekeep. So shout out to you, Love Has Limits. And thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check with the VIP Skip the Line. All right. Okay. Neptune Blue plays the bass. You can hear, you can hear that finger work. Yep. Okay. Will does sync. Okay. Shout out to you, Neptune Blue. All right. Moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, let's see here where we were at in the queue. All right. So we did P-Piece, and now we're here on Besmond with Dwayne King. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Besmond with their song Dwayne King. All right. I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
that bass.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Besman with Dwayne King. Shout out to you, Besman, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Besman, it's an interesting name. It sounds like my name, Desmond. But shout out to you, Besman. So yeah, that beat, man, good beat, had lots of energy. The first thing I thought of when I heard this beat, as this beat started to grow and it actually dropped, this beat just reminds me of a beat battle beat. You know, it feels like this is a beat that you will play on stage. You know, there was that Turn Your Producer Up show on YouTube, and I did a couple reaction videos to those episodes. If you guys haven't seen it, click on my playlist tab and check out my Turn Your Producer Up reaction. I just did a couple of reactions on those. And in there, you know, I talked about how a lot of the producers, at least in the episodes that I saw, didn't hype up. They didn't create contrast. They didn't create drops. They just felt like beats that you can kind of groove to, but not actually battle and have real energy. So I feel like that beat would definitely be suited for some type of beat battle. An artist can get on there, but definitely that is just way more leaning towards a beat battle. It says, I'm challenging another producer and I'm here to win. So that's the kind of energy that I got from there. One thing that happened though, whenever we got that drop, when you said let the bass knock, and then the drop came in, so the beat was hitting hard, but then the snare, I want you to turn that snare up just a little bit more, because the bass is hitting, and I want that snare to neck snap. So we want to boom, and then we want to neck snap. So just turn that snare up a little bit more. Maybe like let's just try 1.3 dB. Just try 1.3 dB, and let's see if you get that real neck snap. It just felt a little bit tucked away, and for something this aggressive, you need to push that up forward. Another thing on that beat, let's see here. So we got to a point where once again, this kind of sounds like a battle beat, so we could see here in the waveform, things are growing and growing and growing. It's just that once we got to the very end, I did hear some harshness on the top end that could be a little harsh for the listener. If you're playing this in a club, that I think this will be cool. Like if you're really battling, that might be cool. But let's kind of watch how distorted we're getting when everything gets aggressive, because we want to feel the aggression, we want to feel the power, and we don't want the harshness of the top end to not really allow us to fully be pulled into the music, you know? So I understand we do want to be aggressive, but we want to be aggressive with power when it comes to this type of beat, once again, which kind of feels like a battle beat. But shout out to you, Besman, and thank you so much for your submission right here on the Heat Check. All right, and it looks like we got Millie in the building. Shout out to you, Millie. Shout out to you. Got your submissions this week. All right, moving forward, we got... Oh, sorry, guys. So I thought I heard something. All right. Moving forward, we got Besman with Rebels. All right. I'm about to play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Besmond with Rebels. All right. Shout out to you, Besmond. And thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. So, my hunch was right that these are definitely battle beats. That's not just a beat you would just play in the studio on a random Tuesday with your homeboys pulling up. That's definitely a battle beat. I've been in a battle before. I've been in battles before. I've been on stage, and a part of being in those battles is showmanship. It's the ability to get the crowd going, to get the crowd connected to what you're doing. Certain parts of this beat, I could feel the producer being on stage and just really getting the crowd going. And man, when you can get the crowd moving and you feel that energy, that's definitely a good feeling, man. It's there's no feeling like it. So yeah, definitely a battle beat, definitely a good battle beat. I think, if you were to challenge somebody, man, with how much is going on in that beat, man, this is going to be hard because you have so many elements that's going to be difficult for someone to challenge you on. So man, as far as constructive feedback, this is a battle beat. I think I might have heard one thing. Hold on, let me hear. Because this is the live beat review show, so you want some type of feedback. Okay. So the only one thing that's going on. So the thing I'm hearing is the kick is really attacking. You have all the energy, you have all that mid-range energy, all the samples and everything going on. But the thing is, and you have that kind of drill 808 going. The only thing that I'm kind of hearing is, trying to capture those real low subs in that beat while keeping the beat loud. So that could be a bit of a challenge to do. Because something has to be sacrificed in order for something to win. But if you can try to just add in just lower subs into the beat without sacrificing its ability to get loud, once again, which is a balance, which is tricky, I think that'll help this beat. Just trying to get those real low subs. But that's really the only piece of feedback I could think of. And another reason I say that is because if you are in a battle and you are on stage, and then someone can play a beat with a whole bunch of low subs and the beat is fire and the low subs are just shaking the entire club or shaking the entire venue, we kind of want to watch out for that. So kind of try to work that balance if you can, and I think that'll just take this beat to a whole nother level. So shout out to you, Besmond, man. Fire beats, get out there in them battles, man. It's definitely a fun experience, and it is a great networking experience. You get to meet other producers, exchange information and whatnot. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have 61 AM with Don't Hurt. Now, 61. Oh, okay. I was confused. I was confused on that one, Neptune Blue. So yeah, so someone named XJ Will has some good information on Sync as well. Neptune Blue shouted that out in the chat, so you guys check that out too. All right. Now, 61 AM. This looks like a very short submission here. I don't know too much of what I could play. Let me listen to this first, and then I'll play it. Give me 1 second, guys. I just wanted to play it really quickly to myself to make sure it's, wasn't nothing crazy. But yeah, very, very short submission by 61 AM called Don't Hurt. I'm going to play it. You submitted, so I'm going to go ahead and play it, then give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. All right, that was 61 AM submitted with Don't Hurt, free submission. So I played your music. And as far as feedback, it sounds like you're just trying stuff out right now. Those pianos, I could tell that's very stock piano sounds. I didn't have too much to go on that. So just keep making music. Try it when you can to get away from those stock piano sounds. Try to upgrade to, if you can, addictive keys. If you can, Contact, the big dog stuff whenever you get a chance to. But keep grinding, keep creating music, keep watching different tutorials, and yeah, just don't give up, man. This is like anything in life, man. Don't give up. I started on this YouTube channel with 0 subscribers. Then I saw 1. Then I saw 5. Then I saw 10. And now I'm at over 1,000. So keep grinding. Keep grinding. Don't quit. So moving forward, we have Dancing Maine. Shout out to you, Dancing Maine. His first submission of the night, called Another Day in the Ghetto. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Just another day in the ghetto. Oh, the streets bring sorrow. Can't get up to date with the schedule. I just hope I make it to tomorrow. Just another day in the ghetto. Oh, the streets bring sorrow. Can't get up to date with the schedule. I just hope I make it to tomorrow. Just another day in the ghetto. Oh, the streets bring sorrow. Can't get up to date with the schedule. I just hope I make it to tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Dancing Maine with Another Day in the Ghetto. All right, shout out to you, Dancing Maine, and thank you so much for your submission right here on the Heat Check. Now, Dancing Maine, I feel like we're getting that got back into the classic Dancing Maine vibes. The hip hop style of music. Past couple weeks, you've definitely been submitting some R&B stuff, but we're getting back into the signature Dancing Maine style of production. That was an interesting beat. Once again, when I do hear your hip hop beats, generally, I think of indie artist, indie rapper, kind of an underground rapper type of sound, where it's just this is his or her unique aesthetic. Their aesthetic is delivered by Dancing Maine. This is that person's style of music. So this is something that I feel like it might be difficult for just your average artist, your average rapper to really gravitate towards. It's something that y'all would have to be locked in. You and that artist are locked in on this specific sound, and this is what you give to the marketplace, to the people. That being said, as far as constructive feedback, one thing I was hearing, I heard you was doing some of the panning, so you had some of the automation or just panning in your DAW. So you had like a open hat going one, open hat, open hat, open hat, open hat. Now that's a slightly too much movement due to the fact that your beat is a little it's busy, has a lot of elements in going on in there. So let's try with that open hat panning. Let's go 1, 2, then 1, 1, 2, then 1. You don't have to push it as wide. Just dial it in just a little bit more, like maybe 5% more, 7% more. Dial it in, and then just 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. So the ear is listening, and then 1, 2, 1. That might sound kind of crazy to you guys, but that's just what I was hearing. It's just that panning was just going back and forth with the open hats a little too much, and then you have a busy beat on top of that, so it's just kind of like the ear could be a little bit confused slightly, like where am I supposed to be listening to. Another thing is with you had some high end elements in that beat. I don't quite know if that's sound like you played something on top of the sample, especially when the verse came in, but let's go ahead and try to shelve off either this that top end sound. I don't know if there's like some type of synth or something playing on top of it, or a pad sound, but let's try to shelve off a little bit of the top end on that sound, just so it'd be a little more inviting to a recording artist to put their voice on top of. Like just too much high end is just, especially in that kind of like, sound like it was about 8K, between 8K or something like that. So let's just create a shelf and just relax some of that top end. But shout out to you, Dancing Main. Thank you so much for your submission tonight. All right, moving forward, we have Dancing Main with High on Love. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Dancing Main's second submission of tonight with High on Love. Shout out to you, Dancing Main, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Dancing Main, that beat was interesting. Now, for that beat, I like the sample, the Sunday, Monday, and I just liked what you did to it. You did something that kind of got musical and it just really pulled me in. But there was something about the contrast between the sample and then when the actual beat hit, it's like an energy shift, and it was just too different. It just pulled me in different directions. So you may either A, have to take that sample out, or I would try to replace it with a different sample. That might be doing a little bit too much. I would say take the sample out of the intro and just find something else. Find something else to create that contrast that you do in your beats, because just it pulled me in different directions. The sample intro took me one way, and then the beat itself, when it dropped, it felt like it was taking me more in like a Currency kind of way. I felt like I was like listening to Currency or something like that. So we kind of need to fix the vibe, fix the mood. I like the way the actual beat sounded when it actually dropped. So I would say continue that. Maybe take the instruments that you had there when the beat actually dropped, put it as the beginning, and then maybe pitch it down an octave or pitch it up an octave, to the instruments up an octave, just to create contrast between the breakdown and the actual beat hitting. But just that, it pulled me in two different directions. But I did like the beat when it actually played, but the sample and the beat just take me in two different worlds. Other than that, another thing I was hearing on that beat, Dancing Main, is kind of watch the bass when the beat dropped. I kind of felt like there were certain parts in that beat where the bass, the key of the bass, the melody of the bass was kind of right at that borderline of being a bit off. So let's watch that as well. But the beat, especially the main part of the beat and the sample, when you have the beat and the drums actually playing, still has potential. So definitely don't run away from this beat. Just kind of tighten up those things, and then let's see where we can go from there. So shout out to you, Dancer Main. Thank you so much for your submission right here on the Heat Check. All right, moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, we have Millie Beats here. All right, before we get to Millie Beats, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you're hitting like and subscribe right here on my YouTube channel. Got a lot of great stuff coming up, a lot of great content, a lot of stuff that I don't want to talk about yet, but just know that this page is growing and growing. The value that I'm giving to you guys is growing and growing. So make sure you hit like and subscribe. Also get some of those free goodies at DesmondASounds.com. I am here to support the community and help it grow. All right. Once again, Millie Beats here. First submission of the night, we have No Cap. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
God damn, Millie, you're bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Millie Beats with No Cap. Shout out to you, Millie Beats. Thank you so much for your submission here tonight. Now, Millie Beats, once again, I'm hearing that in your melody. Your melodies are getting better and better. I'm not hearing any dissonance, not hearing any clashing notes. Things sound nice and musical, and you've been able to capture the vibe. So shout out to you on improving and getting everything nice and musically sound. So, it's not easy, but it's worth it whenever you get there. So shout out to you. Now, one thing I was really hearing in that beat was like the drums. The drums kind of felt like they could have been a little more polished. It's almost like I want a little bit more compression on those drums. I almost wish there was a way to route. I know you're using FL Studio Mobile. It's like I want you to be able to route your like kick, your snare, and your hi-hat, and maybe even that tambourine sound that you had going on onto a bus, and then adding a compressor on there just to kind of glue things together a bit more, kind of balance out the volume of all those drum sounds without doing too much. But I feel like they could just be more so in harmony. They could just be more put together. They kind of felt like a little quiet. The kick was a little quiet. The snare, the clap was good, but it just felt like I wanted the relationship with the kick, the snare, the hi-hat, and the clap to all be more so cohesive. They kind of felt separated and kind of a little bit disjointed. And I feel like if we could put it into like a bus and then add a compressor, we can really tighten up the way things sound. That being said, I feel like if you have a recording artist, or if you meet a recording artist or know a friend who's a recording artist, and y'all meet each other, either I would say if y'all meet each other in person and they act, hey, you got beats, and if you play that beat for the person, they're gonna be able to freestyle to it. They're gonna be able to write a song to it. They're gonna be able to fall in love with that beat and do something with it. Whenever you guys, if the artist is, somewhat serious, they can even, I really feel like personally, I could work with that instrumental as far as like compressing it and make it, I don't even want to put that out there. So if the artist is serious, and they buy the beat or even like the beat, then they get the track outs. You give them the track outs from, FL Studio Mobile. Then they do a song to it. The engineer can just tighten everything up and get them the way they need it needs to sound. So I would say with that beat, man, definitely don't be afraid to show that to artists, especially in person. You could look at them and bounce to the music and help them write a song to it just by mumbling, or maybe you have some hook ideas. So, I really feel like that, despite the fact that the drums could improve, I feel like there's potential there. And I don't think a recording artist, it will hurt your chances of a recording artist to make a song to it if you're in person with them and if you can catch and create a vibe with them in person. I feel like you can still do something with that. So shout out to you, Millie Beats, man. Definitely improving every week. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. All right. Moving forward, we have another submission of the night by Millie Beats. This one is called Plug. All right, Plug MP3. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
God damn, Millie, you're bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the second submission of the night by Millie Beats. That one is called Plug MP3. Shout out to you, Millie Beats, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Millie Beats. That beat, once again, man, melodically, musically sound. You know, as I was playing the music, I was freestyling to it. I was making sure there was enough space in the music for me to actually make a song if I was a recording artist. So, yes, definitely shout out to you on the improvements. That being said, okay, let me say this. I felt like the relationship between the drums on that one was better than the other one. So it's like whatever you did on this beat, you know, they kind of have a similar texture with the drums. I feel like if you could do that on the other beat, that'll make things sound better. That Moog bass that you got going is cool. I think it's getting the job done. But if you could try to find a better Moog bass sound, wow. I feel like that one just feels a little stocky. So if we can get a better Moog bass sound, I think that'll help the beat sound even more. People will be even more surprised to find out that you made this on FL Studio Mobile. Like it's like we're chipping away at certain things that's going on in the production, and as I'm listening, I'm always trying to get you into a more polished state. So looks like we've gone through the melody part. You know, you've really tightened up your melody. Now I just want to help push you past the finish line of having people be like, oh wow, you made that on FL Studio Mobile, you did it on mobile. So I want people to have that reaction. But in that particular beat, one thing that was kind of giving it away, or kind of slightly kind of giving a hint, was that Moog bass sound. So once again, if you can try to use a chorus, if there's a nice chorus effect and it doesn't do too much, if you could just touch it with the chorus effect and just make it sound a little bit fatter, maybe a little bit chunkier, you know, that could possibly do it. But if you can maybe even find a one shot that can have a more professional sound, I think that'll help it out as well. So shout out to you, Millie Beats, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Shout out to you. Yep, absolutely. Good vibe. All right, moving forward, we have Neptune Blue. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Neptune Blue with Late Night Caper. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Neptune Blue with Late Night Caper. Shout out to you, Neptune Blue, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right. Now, Neptune Blue, definitely hear really good, like I like the instruments that were going on in that beat. Definitely gave me like some nostalgic vibes, kind of like South type beats, kind of like give me like a little bit of 8-Ball, MJG kind of vibes here and there. That definitely, I always appreciate those type of nostalgic vibes. All right. That being said, one of the first things that jumped out to me was like the 808, the key of the 808. I was hearing at certain parts it was off key. It almost sounded like it was off key by like a half step. It almost feel like if you kick certain parts off by a half step, it would have been locked in right there. So, like I say in a lot of my feedback, of course, push it up an octave so it almost sounds like a bell, or maybe even 2 octaves, where it even sounds like a higher bell. And then it's easier for the human ear to tell if a bell is in key, so you can work on it there, you know, kind of push it up and down the piano roll, make sure everything's locked in, push it down an octave, make sure it's locked in, then push it down to the proper octave, and then things should even feel better. Musically, it should actually pull you in better. I was just hearing some of the 808s were off key. Also, at certain parts, I kind of felt like there was like, it almost felt like an intentional breakdown or an intentional like filtering of the sounds. And I felt like it was trying to create some type of contrast, but it didn't feel like fully committed. So I got a little confused at times on what was happening. So let me see if I can pull up the part here. So I didn't know if this was like a... No, that part is fine. Let's see if I can find it. Right there. Okay, so I feel like that was supposed to be some type of like filter into the beat coming back in, but it didn't feel like totally committed. It almost felt like you might want to even put like a low pass filter there and make the low pass filter more extreme, so you can like pull it in and really let the beat drop actually hit. Also, I'm still hearing that low end thing, the chopping off of the low end, like the stub frequencies. Of course, I did receive your video. I still think it has something to do with listening on the laptop, just not being able to hear that. But then again, even if you're listening on the laptop, the information down below should still exist. So, you know, once again, Neptune Blue, if you're able to, you know, do the option to send me over one of these beats so I can see exactly what's happening. If there's a certain setting on one of those plugins you showed me, there's something there. I saw a lot of movements, a lot of EQ moves in your video that you sent me, Neptune Blue. So I'm thinking there's something there that we need to, I feel like it's something we need to take out. It's something that's being added that's swiping and cutting off the low end. So whenever you have a chance, if you can send me one or two, then I will pull it up in my FL Studio and kind of dissect it, take it apart, and see exactly the specific thing that's causing it. So shout out to you, Neptune Blue, and thank you so much for your submission. All right, moving forward, we have Neptune Blue with Black Superhero. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Neptune Blue with Black Superhero. Shout out to you, Neptune Blue. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, I wanted to listen to something one more time in the intro. Give me a second. Okay, I know it wasn't tripping. So, in the intro of that beat, it felt like it was panned. Let me make sure. Yeah, got my headphones on right. So it felt like the intro part was panned a little bit to the right, and it kind of threw me off, made me a little bit off balance. I was checking my cable to make sure I had everything plugged in properly, and it just threw me off in a weird way. So in that intro part with the dun, 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 if we can try to get it balanced between the right side and the left side. So it kind of gave it like an awkward feel in the beginning. And of course, in the beginning, we want to set the tone. We want everything to feel good. We want everything to pull us in as listeners and really get us engaged into the music. So that being said, whenever we actually got into the beat itself, I felt like that hook part that I was listening to, it felt a little bit busy. I feel like it might be a little bit of a challenge for a recording artist to get on there. That the part where after the intro, where we get into a lot of the instrumentation, felt a little too busy. Once again, it might be like the artist might have to try to hop in to add something to it. So like I always say, less is more. You know, if you even take out a sound or pull down the volume of the sound even more, it just creates more space for a recording artist. And guys, a lot of the interviews that you see that producers talk about, oh, this was the beat that I think was going to get picked, I wasn't even done. As a matter of fact, I did a video on Type Beats today. I believe I released it today on Type Beats, and the producer who produced Doechie's song, Doechie's popular song that made her famous, that beat that he did, he said he literally was not finished, and then he just posted it on YouTube, and then Doechie found it, and then of course now he's out of here. So that goes to show he had like a schedule, like he's gonna post his Type Beats. He wasn't done, and he uploaded it, and I'm like, if he would have added all the sounds he wanted to add, Doechie wouldn't have had any room. So, you know, that's one of the reasons why I tell you guys to try to leave extra space. Sometimes it can even feel uncomfortable. Like, I really want to add this sound, but being in the studio with recording artists and just seeing how they move, that it informed me to really, one, it helped my production, and two, I want to give that value to you guys. The artist is listening for like space for them to really jump in and live in. And as producers, we have so many VSTs and sounds and sound packs. Sometimes we just want to get it all off. So, you know, I feel like we could dial that back a little bit. And the hook part, that'll make it easier for the recording artist. I really like you had this like breakdown part that came in later. There's a nice little cool chill vibe. Almost feel like this could have been a beat in itself, like a separate beat. Here, let's see if I can find it. I think that was that it. Where's that chill part? Yeah, the real chill part. Right there. See? You see how chill that part is? You see how much space that part has? That's a part that a recording artist, you know, could really, really go crazy on. But, you know, as producers, we can kind of feel like, oh, but I got to do this. Oh, but I got to do that. And I got to add this. But that chill part I just played there, man, you could just take everything else out, get that chill part, maybe have like a intro with the doom, 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 doom. Maybe even pitch it, have a separate part where you pitch it down or pitch it all the way up to create contrast. And just that's all that artist needs. The drums, that sound, that nice little vibe right there. That's all they need, man. And they can totally make a song to that and get out of here. Other than that, that's really the main feedback I have on that beat. I really need to, you know, of course, I'm hearing the subs. I can't hear the subs, and that's even impacting the kick. I can hear that the kick is hacked, sliced off. But once we were able to, you know, troubleshoot that and get to the bottom of it, we can, of course, you know, move forward from there. But yeah, keep cooking up and keep submitting here on the Heat Check. All right, what's going on? Clever Lion, shout out to you, Clever Lion. Let's see here. Definitely could be half steps in airways. I have to fix those often. Yeah, man, we've all been there, man. We've all been there. Neptune Blue, I didn't make the extreme enough on the low pass filter. Yeah, got to make the low pass filter more extreme so we know, you know, what's going on. Gonna send them zips. I forgot to send them. All right, cool. Yeah, whenever you have a chance, Neptune Blue, go ahead and send the zips my way. Just if you could descend like 2 beats, then I'll load it up and then I'll just dissect it and see what's causing that issue there. Once again, I think it's something that's being added and that we need to take away. It's just something in there that we need to take away. But yes, shout out to you, Neptune Blue. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Please continue to submit. Please continue to keep cooking up beats, and I'd be glad to help you on your music production journey. Shout out to Clever Lion as well. Shout out to everyone in the chat. All right. Moving forward, we have G Major with Fire in the Booth. I believe G Major has submitted before here on the Heat Check. Looks like you're back, G Major. Shout out to you. So I'm going to go ahead and play this beat by G Major called Fire in the Booth. Mute my mic and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was G Major with Fire in the Booth. Shout out to you, G Major. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, G Major, I believe it was you. It might have been another producer with that kind of that you know, true school hip hop sound. G Major, what was I gonna say? Oh, I lost my train of thought. So G Major, I believe there was a beat that you submitted, and I said I recognized the sample, and I knew who the artist, the people you sampled was, and I said I wasn't gonna say because I'm not a sample snitch. That being said, G Major, one thing you may want to do if that was you, if that was your submission that I mentioned before, you might want to look up a drummer named Homer Steinweiss. He's a drummer for one of that band that you sampled. If that was you, that band, if you look at different artists that person has worked with, you're going to find some good samples. So Homer Steinweiss, look him up and then look at who he's connected to. Go through, dig, you know, if you're going to, you can even go to the record store. You should be able to find the artist that he's worked with, and you're going to be able to find some gems to sample. So that's just a little tidbit there. All right, so G Major, feedback on your beat. So the beat was busy, but I was freestyling as the beat was playing. That's one of the reasons why I mute my mic. And I felt like there was still a lane for the artist to rap on there. The sample was going, the drums, you had feels going, but I still had room as a recording artist, if I was a recording artist, to rap on that beat and to really live in the music. Right there in the middle, I could still have my vocal going. The person I was thinking of when I heard this beat, even though it has that older school feel, I was hearing somebody like Dave East on this beat. So, try to reach out to Dave East or look up on Spotify artists similar to Dave East. Just hit them up. You never know, man. These artists out here are real people. If you hit them up, you got music that they like, you build a relationship. You never know. All it takes is a lease. All they got to do is lease a beat to show that they're really serious. And then from there, you never know what it can grow into. So it can all start with one lease. And then before you know it, they have this is my budget, and then before you know it, they just keep grinding. Then you guys develop into something. So yeah, I definitely want, if you haven't, man, definitely lock in with a recording artist. Even if they have to pay you for like a bulk of beats and y'all go back and forth and tweaking your beats and things like that, I think that's really a place that you're gonna live. Of course, posting type beats on YouTube is a great place for discovery, people discovering you as a producer, but that's more so, things coming to you and then you going out to get it. I feel like you could reach out to different people and make something happen. As far as constructive feedback on your beat, there was one thing I was hearing is at a certain point, you dropped out like the sample and everything, and then I just heard the drums going, and that could work, but I felt like once you dropped everything out and it was just the samples, just the drum going by itself, it felt like the drums were really playing off a lot of the sample chops, so it just felt just a little bit off to me. Maybe you could freestyle to it, listen back and just say, hey, Desmond, you were tripping. It sounds perfectly fine. But to me, those drums without the sample, it's not, the groove of the drum isn't playing off the groove of the sample chops and the groove of the music that's going. It felt a little weird. So I feel like you could take that out, and then you got enough change, you got enough music going, you got enough everything going in this beat to be perfectly fine. So I don't feel like that was really needed. You know what I mean? So shout out to you, G Major. You definitely got fire, man. Fire in the booth. G Major, shout out to you. And please continue to submit right here on the Heat Check. All right, let's take a look at the chat. Goes in the chat. Had a Sparrow plug-in. Did that fix it after I sent. All right, gonna fix it. Yeah, no, Neptune Blue. It wasn't a spreader plug-in. Something is eating. I feel like, I don't know if you're using like a template mixer, some type of mixer template, and you're just adjusting the mixer template. But once again, once I get like 2 of your tracks, the FL Studio project, I think I should be able to discover it relatively quickly, hopefully. So we'll see. But yes, shout out to you, G Major. Moving forward, we have PH Beats with Over. All right. Shout out to you, PH Beats. I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was PH Beats with Over. Shout out to you, PH Beats, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, PH Beats, good sample, good kick. What I was hearing in that beat, first thing I heard was that snare. I know where that snare is from. That's from it's from a break beat. I keep forgetting the name of the break beat. But I feel like we need a different snare on that beat. I was like ready to just get totally pulled into the music, but the first thing that poked out to me was that snare. That main snare. If we could try swapping out that main snare, just go through your collection, go through your different sounds, and just see if you could find a better snare for that beat. Another thing I was hearing in that beat was I never really was able to find a consistent groove. So if I was a rapper, we have the intro part, then we have the first part of the actual beat dropping and playing. That's one groove. And then the second half of the beat dropping and the beat playing almost felt like a breakdown already. But the artist really never had a chance to really get inside of a real groove and start snapping. We go from the intro to the beat playing. It's like almost like we're starting a groove. And then right after that, the second half of the beat playing or the drum part playing, we have like a breakdown. So let's have the beat grow, or at least lock in that groove on the first part, like the first 4 bars you have there when the beat drops, instead of going straight into a breakdown. Because it's like if I'm rapping to this beat and oh, shout out to you, Clever Lion. I got you locked in. Let me go ahead and do that. All right. So if I'm playing this beat and I'm really listening to the groove, and then it goes straight into like a breakdown, then it's just really hard for me to actually write a song to this music. So let's work on that. Freestyle to your music, listen to your music, and sometimes we have to take off the producer hat and put on the artist hat, and that's helped me out a lot. So put on the artist hat sometimes, and then look at it from their perspective. And then I think once you make a couple of those tweaks, you'll be good to go. On top of that, I feel like you can kick the pace of this beat up by either 1 BPM or 2 BPMs. I think 1 or 2 BPMs is going to just help it just give a slightly better groove. It's kind of right there in the middle. It's not really too fast. It's not too slow, but it's kind of right there in the middle. So let's push it. Let's push it 2 BPMs. And I feel like we'll be good to go. So shout out to you, PH Beats with Over. So shout out to you, PH Beats. All right. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, we got Clever Lion in the building, and Clever Lion with the VIP Skip the Line. So let me go ahead and pull Clever Lion's submission up here in FL Studio. And as I work on that, as I get everything downloaded here and pulled up here, ladies and gentlemen, once again, make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com. My FLD bass, which so many people seem to love, is going to no longer be free in 2026. So make sure you get the FLD bass now while it's free, because I am going to have to add a price to it. So get it now, get it now, get it now. Once again, Desmond8Sounds.com. That FLD bass is something serious, man. I'm telling you, I got all types of clipping settings, and you can add sub bass back to your music, and it's currently free. So I don't want to spill the beans on some of my plans, but it would be nice if all the people in Silicon Valley, if y'all are listening, if you need someone to help you build plugins, then holla at me. I'll be on the first thing smoking to Cali to help build plugins for the producer community. So let me know. All right. So I got Clever Lion here in the building with the VIP Skip the Line. Said first tries at this genre. Okay, shout out to you, Clever Line. First try at this particular genre. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play this beat by Clever Line. VIP Skip the Line, playing the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Clever Lion with BB1. Shout out to you, Clever Lion, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Clever Lion, I see you're getting into your West Coast bag, you get into your West Coast vibes and things like that. So shout out to you. couple things that I was hearing there in that beat. But the West Coast vibe especially this kind of vibe that you're going for, it's all about bounce and attitude. You know, it's groove, it's feel. You want to get into it. One of the first things that jumped out to me was that the Moog bass that you had there, you had like that wow, 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 wow. We didn't have to have that staccato part, that wow, wow, wow. It's just wow, 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 wow. We don't need that wow, wow, wow. That little staccato part, you could take that part out. That just kind of threw off the groove, and it felt a little awkward. If we can take that part out, we just want all groove with that Moog bass. Also, that on top of that, speaking about groove, it felt like the drum groove on this was pretty stiff. It's just like, boom, ka, boom, ka. You know, we want a little bit more. Boom, pow, pow, pow. We want to move. You know, it just felt a little 1 2 1 2. So let's work on that drum groove. You know, listen to a couple like YG songs, you know, Terrace Martin's productions and things like that. You know, we want to get that West Coast groove, that nice fluid motion. We want to flow with the music. This one just felt a little stiff. On top of that, then we had as the beat was playing, you like musically, we were on the right track musically. As far as melody wise, then you had this loud guitar that came in. It's almost like a guitar with no effects here. Let me see if I can find it. See, that part felt good. All that stuff felt good. Then you had like this. Yeah, that dum dum dum. That wasn't really necessary. It didn't really add anything to it, and it was also just too loud. It was way too loud. It didn't fit the music. You can just even totally mute that one. And then you also had a wah guitar sound come in. That wow wow. It's like that wah guitar sound you added as well. It was too loud, and honestly, I don't feel like it's needed. You could try to pull it down and fit it in the background of the beat, but I think you may be able to mute that one too. What I felt like you were doing with this beat is it felt like you made this beat, things were sounding good and feeling good, but then you were like, oh, this is a West Coast beat, so I need to add this, and I need to add that, and I need to add this to make it a real West Coast beat. And that's not necessarily true. You don't have to add that wah guitar sound there. As I was playing when things were kind of empty, not too much going on, that was fine. You don't have to keep adding sounds to make it officially West Coast. Like every week we have Millie Beats here submit his music. Millie Beats, he does the West Coast YG type of vibes and things like that. You know, of course, I'm not trying to pitch you guys against each other or anything like that, but Millie Beats is a person who constantly makes those West Coast type of vibes. I almost feel like you could take some of your instruments and then you and Millie Beats can maybe collab on some type of West Coast thing. You know, maybe Millie Beats does the drums, then you add certain melodic parts, then he'll cut stuff up and whatnot. So, you know, just throwing it out there. You know, of course, guys, I have my Discord in the description. That's there for you guys to network, you know, hit each other up, network with each other, and, you know, create fire with each other. But yeah, that's really my feedback for that beat. If we can fix those things, you'll be in the right track. But this beat has elements that could be used by somebody who makes West Coast beats. So you never know. You could possibly, again, hit up Millie Beats or somebody else who makes West Coast style music. But shout out to you, Clever Line. All right, moving forward, we have Clever Line's second submission of the night with Chillin'. All right, I'm going to play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Clever Lion with Chillin'. All right. Shout out to you, Clever Lion. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Clever Lion, the first thing I noticed about that beat was the intro was a bit strange. It almost felt like musically it was a little off. Yeah, that was a little awkward to take the chord there. You could have just kept it simple, keep it simple. You don't have to, do too much on the intro. Just that chord change right there was a little awkward. So let's just keep it simple, keep it dark, and then let it go into the beat. Now, when it comes to the beat itself, I felt like what I'm hearing is like Clever Lion. It's like you're able to get these elements of the West Coast right. It almost like I kind of feel like if you're developing your sound, I'm hearing that you have a knack more so for this kind of West Coasty kind of stuff. I'm just hearing how you're selecting things and how they're working with each other. It's just that we need to tighten things up. Like I feel like the bass, there's something going on with the bass sound that you selected. It's like I like the top end of the bass or the mid range of the bass, but it's kind of weird at the bottom end. I don't know if there's another sound going on in your mixer that's also going off in the low end, but something is keeping that bass sound you selected from being great, or it could just be the sound itself. It could just be kind of awkward in the sub frequencies. So you can even just try swapping out different sounds in your collection just to something going on there with the sub bass. But I do like the mid range and the rest of the character of the bass. Other than that, I just feel like things need to be tightened up. So, Clever Lion, if you haven't, definitely please try. If you feel like you're at that point, man, please try to collaborate with maybe like a couple of West Coast producers. If you could find some people on BeatStars or Instagram or wherever, collaborate with West Coast producers, because what it's going to do is they can like take a lot of stuff out, add certain elements in, and really make decisions that you wouldn't have made. And it's going to help bridge that gap, bridge that learning gap. Of course, you could continue to work at making beats, keep making beats. Of course, it's something we should all be doing. But there's something about collaborating with other producers and being introduced to their taste in sound selection, their taste in musical decision making. And that could really help to, once again, bridge the gap and get your skills up more. Like I've collabed with producers, and it's like I wouldn't have made that decision. I feel a little weird about it, but I'm gonna go ahead and trust you in this scenario. So you might find yourself running into that if you do collaborate with West Coast producers or producers in general. But I feel like that's one of the elements, or that's one of the things that's going to help push you up a notch, is collaborations. But keep going, man. I feel like musically, West Coast, or these West Coast elements, I feel like your decision making on the sounds is just much more. I didn't have any moments where I was totally like thrown off melodically. So I feel like we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. I don't have to be example of what makes West Coast music. All right, there you go. Definitely try Clever Lion, try to listen to, people like YG, My Crazy Life by YG. Listen to other YG productions. Unless you want to go to like the older generation, of course you can listen to Dre and stuff like that. But as far as modern West Coast stuff, listen to like more like YG stuff. I think that'll definitely put you on the right track. Of course, we have Kendrick's GNX, that album, but Kendrick works with just about everyone. That one album does definitely have a solid West Coast vibe. Kendrick does work with everyone, but I say YG has more modern, authentic West Coast vibe. So definitely I would check into YG's production and just listen, Listen as a student and not just a casual music fan. Listen critically. And if you can find some of his instrumentals, even better. Check YouTube, check QO Buzz. You have to pay for QO Buzz. So just check YouTube and you should be able to find some of YG's instrumentals, man, and listen critically. I can't stress that enough. Don't just listen as a fan, listen critically. Listen with the bass selection, the claps, the hi-hats, the panning, how hard the kicks are hitting, how hard the snare is hitting, what kind of effects the producer is using, really become a student. And I think that'll put you in the right direction. But yeah, shout out to you, Clever Lion. Thank you so much for your submissions this week. It's definitely appreciated. And I'm glad to help you out on your music production journey. All right. Moving forward, that was the second VIP Skip the Line of the night. Moving forward, we have our last submission here, unless somebody else is going to do a VIP Skip the Line. We have Star Kid with Blossom. All right. I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. You are welcome, Clever Lion. You are welcome. You are welcome. All right. We're going to go ahead and check out Star Kid with Blossom. Let's go ahead and take a listen, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Star Kid with Blossom. Star Kid, thank you so much for your submission this week, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Star Kid, that was a good intro. The intro pulled me into the music. The intro was a bit long, especially if you're planning on getting this, music to a recording artist. The intro is a bit long, so it might make it difficult for a recording artist to actually get through that. But I did enjoy the intro as a producer. Now, when the actual drums hit, I had so much anticipation for what was going to happen that I felt a little bit like the payoff wasn't there for such a long intro. I just felt like the drums that hit were really just like standard trap selection, standard trap pattern. Everything about the actual drums were standard, and like I was expecting something more epic because the intro was so epic. So I was expecting the drums to take me somewhere, and it just kind of felt like, okay, this is cool, So if I can have for you to mute the drums and then just listen to the music again. Listen to all the instruments. Just mute the drums, listen to the instrumentation, and then play it back to yourself and listen and start freestyling or start rapping your favorite verse and then start building the hi-hat pattern. Listen to the bounce. Start adding the kick pattern. Listen to the bounce. Start adding the snares. Listen to the bounce. So let the music communicate with you. Let the music tell you what drums to add to this beat instead of going for what's safe, going for what you know, going for what you know is going to help you be able to hit the export button at the end of the night. We've all been there, you know, but we're creating these beats for recording artists to create songs to. And as AI gets better and better, artists might be able to go to the studio and click on in whatever platform and generate a good beat. So we want to be able to still make beats ourselves. And if we're going to make beats ourselves, we need to make sure that things aren't predictable. Things aren't run of the mill. And I'm speaking more so of the drums. We want to be able to say, hey, I know you can get beats from that AI platform. I know you can get beats from that AI platform, but listen to what I got. Doesn't that communicate with you as a recording artist? And that's the kind of message we want to send to recording artists, especially as the competition elevates with AI. So yes, you can definitely still do something with that beat, but let's do something different with the drums. I think we could be more bold, more unorthodox, and more daring. Then other than that, please watch your digital distortion and your master. Let's see here. A lot of producers are just, letting things get into the red. So just be careful with that. Make sure things still sound good. Let's watch some of that digital distortion when sounds get really loud. All right, so that was our last submission of the night. Nice and full show this week, man. The heat check, sometimes we don't have too many submissions. Sometimes we have a whole lot of submissions, and I am here for both. Both have their benefits for me. So, yes, great show tonight, guys. I am happy to be here. Happy for you guys to join me on yet another Friday on the Heat Check. Once again, I'm going to be opening up the form in the next 5 to 7 minutes and making that YouTube community post for the free submissions for next Friday's show. So also make sure you guys go to DesmondASounds.com once again to get all those free goodies that you need as a music producer to elevate your sound. So, yes, take it easy, Clever Lion. Everyone else, take it easy. I will be back next Friday with another Heat Check show. 1,000 subs, man. We're at 1,000 subs. I'm so grateful, guys. Started from the bottom. Now we're here. Started at 0. Now we're at 1,000 subs. And I am grateful for each and every one of you guys. So, I will see you guys next Friday. Same time, same place, right here on YouTube.